Tudo carpete. Suave. E até agora.
No, this is chỗ này nó tập không à. Only training.
Bữa nay không có người train.
Bên đó.
ఇక్కడ ఓపెన్ చేయకూడదు. కావాలంటే ఇష్టంకి చూసేద్దాం.
Pode falhar lá em cima.
Alright everybody, welcome to Building 9, or the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Facility. This is a building where models and mock-ups of all kinds of spacecraft, robots, and space stations are created for testing and training purposes. Since 1980, every NASA astronaut has walked the floors of this building in preparation for their next mission. Currently, the team is using this building for astronaut training and updating hardware for our current space station missions, as well as preparing for the next generation of spaceflight with the Artemis program. So if you look in front of you, all these large white and gray cylinders you see here make up a full-scale mock-up of the International Space Station. These are what we call low-fidelity mock-ups, which means NASA uses these to train astronauts in basic safety or storage procedures on the ISS. The International Space Station is the largest orbiting laboratory ever built, and it is roughly the size of an American football field. The ISS is a global partnership with 15 countries and 5 space agencies, which helps guarantee that the discoveries made in orbit will be shared throughout the world. These countries have been working for over 20 years to create the most prominent international peacetime collaboration in history. This multinational approach to space travel has built the foundation for the Artemis Accords, which will set new terms for future space exploration. After training here, astronauts move to the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, located about 5 miles away at Ellington Airfield. This is one of the world's largest indoor pools. Since buoyancy is the closest sensation to microgravity that can be achieved here on Earth, the NBL has a similar ISS mock-up submerged in 6.2 million gallons of water that the astronauts use for training before heading up to the actual ISS. In 2020, astronauts began launching from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida using a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, instead of relying on the Russian Soyuz for transportation to and from the ISS. SpaceX is one of the companies participating in NASA's Commercial Crew Program, which began in 2014. In front of the window here, you can see a mock-up of a white capsule, the Boeing Starliner. The Boeing Starliner will be added to NASA's commercial space fleet, alongside capsules from SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, Sierra Nevada, and other private companies. Collaborating with these commercial companies allows NASA to focus more time on developing new spacecraft that will take us back to the moon and eventually on to Mars. In preparation for these long-term missions to Mars and beyond, NASA is developing sustainable technology to make the most of the scarce resources in outer space. For example, 93% of the water on the ISS is collected, purified, and recycled through the station systems. Though this may sound unpleasant, it is essential in this nearly closed system. This technology is also used here on Earth every day, providing necessary resources to communities lacking clean drinking water. Other technologies pioneered aboard the International Space Station include innovations in solar energy and the development of memory foam used in mattresses and maybe even in some of your shoes. In 2014, the first 3D printed item was created on the ISS. This led to the first 3D print using recycled materials to make replacement parts and tools. This same 3D printing technology is in use here at JSC, and here across the street, NASA engineers have recently 3D printed a full habitat. Alright guys, at this time you guys can follow me down the hallway and I'll talk about the rest of the building.
Solar energy has been discovered for a long time ago. They just released it recently.
How do you think all the alien spaceship is in Area 51 discovered? Right here's where they train.
Look at this Atlas robot.
Gravity training. No, the guy actually was in here training.
No, the robot right there.
I know, but that's how it's trained. Walk in space.
Deve ser muito legal de ver eles trabalhando.
Oh yeah. Cool. Oh nice.
Alright everybody, if you guys take a look to the middle of the building, you'll see a large blue structure in the shape of an H. If you look to the right of that, you'll see a small silver capsule. This is the Orion command module. Engineers and astronauts have been doing extensive training to prepare a capsule similar to this for the first Artemis mission into deep space in the next few weeks. While the first flight will be uncrewed, it'll mark the start of our Artemis program, with crewed missions scheduled to begin in 2025. Orion builds upon the design of earlier Apollo spacecraft. In addition to being autonomous and reusable, Orion is much larger, capable of carrying 4 astronauts into deep space. To the right of Orion, you'll see 2 of NASA's prototype human landing systems. The large 2-story spacecraft with the gold legs is National Team's human landing system, very similar in design to the Apollo landers of the 1960s and 70s. The white cylinder directly in front of that with the giant panels is the Alpaca, built by Dynetics. Alpaca can house 6 astronauts that allows them to stay on the lunar surface for up to 1 week. These 2 landers will not fly in official NASA missions, since the agency plans to use SpaceX's Starship Artemis instead. However, these landers have inspired several other companies to explore sustainable technology for space exploration. Underneath the silver frames closer towards me, you'll see Valkyrie, a 6'2" humanoid robot. Although NASA plans to deploy Valkyrie to distant celestial bodies, this was not its original intended use. Using a virtual reality headset, an astronaut or a first responder can pilot Valkyrie to explore the surface of a distant planet or into a flood, fire, or other disaster zones here on Earth to search for survivors and clear dangerous debris. Incredible advancements in medicine, which allow a specialist or a surgeon to directly observe or even perform complicated surgeries on the other side of the globe, have been made possible thanks to technology like Valkyrie. All right, everybody. That concludes our tour of the astronaut training facility. 2 things before you head back to the tram. Head back to the same seats you're sitting on at the beginning of the tour. And I'll be standing at the bottom of the stairs if anyone has any questions. At this time, you guys can follow me back to the tram.
Yeah.